I want to switch a little bit. I know that we are a ways away from Ozark, but I have to talk about it a little bit because
Mm.
it is by far my favorite show ever created. When people ask me what I want to do in my future, like what would be an ideal show, Ozark is my answer without a
Great.
doubt. It's literally like I've seen it all the way through three times.
Nice.
It never gets old. I just have to say that.
Thank you.
But it's not even really a technical question, other than just like from my perspective, looking at Ozark as like this would be a dream. When you were on that project, do you recognize sometimes that like you might be living the dream that you have always wanted to be like doing?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I would say no because I knew that I loved the show. It was my favorite show, and I felt very lucky to be shooting it. But I think that's a tough question to answer. Because I think if you're sitting there saying I'm living the dream, I mean, I just try and live in the moment,
Right.
and so um, I'm not. I'm always thankful for whatever work I'm doing in the creation of the moment, but like you're never there, and you're never saying, "Ah, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to get better from here. I might as well just stop."
Right.
Because you can't stop. So it's more just living in the moment and enjoying your
Mm,
moments as much as you can, and because it's rare that you get to create the kind of content that you want to create. Like Ozark was a very unique show in that it's set up for the cinematography. Everything is about the look of the show and how that tells the story and the mood. And no other show, for the most part, that I've been on has been that cinematography centric.
right.
Um, so it's rare, and you have to appreciate that and use it and not take it for granted. But yeah, one second, just
No worries.
joking.
Um,
Ransom Canyon, the newest show.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you towards the end of this about it. But I
Awesome.
guess one of my last questions really for Ozark, I mean, I could spend hours on it, but I don't want to,
You can if you want.
is I know you've talked a little bit about your relationship with Jason Bateman, but I'm more curious about working with an actor that's also the director, executive producer, like that trio of a person has to be kind of a lot at times. Do
Yeah.
you find yourself as a DP working with a director who's also acting that you have to take on certain directing roles at times?
Not with Jason.
Mm,
Jason is incredibly good at uh, compartmentalizing. In fact, I think when he's acting, he can separate his mind where he's also directing at the same time
it's crazy.
and acting and thinking about the holistic nature of the show. I mean, incredible in that way.
Mm,
So I never felt that way. I did a short film with my wife recently, which was great. It's starting to go to festivals now, and
amazing.
um, it's that's more because she was acting and directing, so it's more of like talking about what we just saw in the shot, and and helping sort of with that in a different way,
Mm,
which was great. So I you can take on that role to some degree, but not I was not by any means directing in that. It's just giving my opinion on how I felt the shot should go in the performance and
mhm,
that sort of thing.
mm. I guess like slightly technical. I rarely try to talk about technical stuff, but you know, you came in the last season and there's already a huge, you know, look that's been established
Yeah.
already. So how do you, on like a micro level, establish your voice
Right.
in it? Like, what does
Yeah.
that even look like?
I think you're because it was shot in a way that I love to shoot already,
Mm,
and I knew how to shoot heavy contrast and characters coming out of the shadows and camera movement that sort of um, tells the story and evokes emotion in a lot of ways. So that was already my language.
mm,
So for me, it was just putting certain lighting touches on it that in a way that I like to work, and just these small things that sort of add up in a lot of ways. whether it's from framing or the lighting. Um, it's hard because it's a big show, so you're
Yeah.
coming on and everyone, especially on Ozark, a lot of the crew had been working on that for four seasons, so everyone has their Ozark way of doing
Right.
things. So it's sort of bending that in a way that
Mhm.
makes it your own, but not coming in and be like, I'm going to make my stamp on this.
Right.
It's the subtle things that make a difference, I think.
Mm. I guess
Um,
just on like a fun little note, like when you first arrived on set, was there like a level of like fandom a little bit, like seeing the house for the first time, meet like were you like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I had the opportunity to come in and like while the Sean, the other DP, was shooting, go to set and meet
Mhm.
everyone and see the sets, and that was a moment when I was like, oh, I'm actually doing my dream
That's
job
so
right now,
cool.
and I'm talking to Marty.
That's so cool.
But once I'm never once I got through that moment, that
Mhm.
it's just get to work,
Right.
because there's no I'm very used to, for some reason, on many shows I've come in and just been like, okay, here you go, you're taking over in 2 weeks, or like, like that sort of thing. Or on Lioness,
Mhm.
Special Ops Lioness, I uh was supposed to be shooting episodes, what did I do, 5 and 6, and then we lost the DP for 3 and 4. So I started that with one day of prep, started shooting, um, and I ended up doing that both the entire 3 and 4 instead of 5 and 6. So like I'm
Mhm.
used to kind of coming in,
Mm.
just being like, okay, let's go with the flow and figure it out.
Right.
And I think all the things that we talked about earlier has helped me with that. I've done that on other shows as well.
Mhm.
Some which I come in and my name's not on it, but because I'm just going and helping, completing, you know, finishing some episodes and then getting out and going to a different show. So, um, yeah, it's helpful to recognize the moment and then
Mm.
be like, let's work.
Right.